Hal. Doing a installation of a transmission oil cooler. I bought one from Chopper City, one of Marv's. It was advertised as a slip-in, but quite frankly, it really doesn't slip in. There's quite a bit of work to do. With mine, the air dam was riveted in, which is probably the right thing to do to keep it from trying to move around. So I'll have to drill out those rivets. As far as getting the radiator off, it's not a big deal. Of course, you want to make sure you don't damage the connections on the radiator. So, I hate going to the dentist, but one of the things, if you can steal some of their tools while you're there, it'll really help. So if you'll go in parallel to the hoses around the sides, it makes them much easier to get off. So yeah, go see your dentist. As far as the installation goes, I'll slide it in here, try to hold the camera at the same time. But anyway, it slides in, but there's no good way to connect it. Your radiator rides along here and here, so you have to be careful on what kind of fasteners you use. Also, the connections to this are virtually right into the pulley, so we're going to have to make some adjustments there. And so anyway, I'll drill the rivets out, take this down to the shop, we'll do some milling machine action on it and see how we end up. A little earlier we talked about the cooler, saw it in the bike and how these were so close to the pulley on the crankshaft. So anyway, what Marv tells me is put some heat to it and just simply bend them out to about a 45. I'm a little paranoid on that, so I've devised a little spring and some safety wire. I'm going to poke the spring up inside, then put heat to it, and then try to pull it around with just a little leverage on it. And we'll see how that goes. Again, I'm a little paranoid about the collapse, so we'll take it easy and hopefully it works good. Okay, there we are after we pulled the tube connections out to where I can work with it on the bike. The spring inside of the tube, I think, saved us from having any serious deformation of the tube. So anyway, here we go into some more work. Okay, here we are with the air dam and the modifications made to it. What I did is put in riv nuts because they've got such a low profile on the top side. It only protrudes maybe 0.010. And of course the radiator sits on top of the air dam. So anyway, didn't want much coming up. The padding will take care of that little piece of 0.010. And then modified the cooler, took off probably a 1/2 inch off of this end, drilled a hole that will fit over the riv nut, and on this end I made a slot, so when it goes in the motorcycle it'll actually slide in. Notice that's offset, and that's to allow for the fitting on the water pump. It's pretty tight in there. So anyway, let me go ahead and assemble it. I got on the lathe and made some parts. Hopefully it comes out to where you can see it, but made some little standoffs, cup type thing. And anyway, turn it around where it can work on it a little better. My idea is this one will just slide in and that one will fit just like that. And so anyway, should just drive in. There we go. And the other one the same. And if you notice, the bolts don't come all the way through. The riv nuts, one kind of side note, the riv nuts, we're really counting on you to pull them this way, so I took the TIG welder and just did a little back weld on it, on that side, so it doesn't come loose. But, you know, the cooler itself doesn't hardly weigh anything. It's just getting a matter of supporting it up in there. And then also to have a way to take it back out, you know, should I ever need to work on it. So, anyway, that's about that.